Hello and welcome to the Redvee TV preview show supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2022 season as we look ahead to the round 21 match away at Salford Red Devils this Sunday. I'm joined by Peter Elder, who is probably lamenting Motherwell's exit from Europe, the manager going. We're not going to turn this into Steelmen TV, but from your social media posts, you're quite happy that he's gone.
Well, thanks for starting the preview show on a real high. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much. There's very few Saints fans interested in the woes of Motherwell, but yeah, Graham Alexander, by mutual consent, I believe he kind of like preempted it himself. We've just not been good enough. It's not just the 2 games against Sligo. We've been rubbish since January. The football's been terrible and there's been so much wrong. But it is what it is. So we'll see who we get in long term. But anyway, things happen. And I wanted to actually start the show this week with a heartfelt apology on behalf of every Saints fan to rugby league lovers everywhere for us being so classless and cheeky as to enjoy winning a game last week. I don't know what we were thinking. It's something hopefully we won't repeat again. I'm sure Christian and the boys are very shamefaced about the whole thing. And every Saints fan who was at Wakefield last Sunday will feel very bad about the whole thing.
I certainly do.
There is a hint of sarcasm in that and the fallout. If I was a Wakefield fan, I would take that as a huge compliment that we were so happy to beat the team at the bottom of the league, and that it was such a hard-fought victory that we were so happy that we won it. That's the way I would look at it. Look how happy they are. They've just scraped past the worst team in the league. All joking apart, we've every right to celebrate winning the game in that way. We've been burned in golden point matches before, so we've got every right to celebrate another 2 points towards the League Leaders Shield and hopefully another appearance at Old Trafford.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Listen, I was one of those fans stood absolutely soaking wet on the terraces at Wakefield. I turned around to the lad stood next to me and said, "This isn't worth the entry fee. This hasn't been a great game. It's not worth another 10 minutes of extra time. We should all just go home and pack it up." And you know what? There was, I think it was relief, the celebration, that we come away with it, because, as me and Dave said in the instant fan reaction, Wakefield deserved to come away with at least a point from that game. I think they managed the conditions quite well. Listen, it is what it is. It's sport. If you can't get up about sport and you stood there watching it, or sat in your house listening to it on the radio, and you don't give yourself a little cheer when your team does win, it's not for you. It's not the right thing for you.
No, absolutely. And I do have sympathy for Wakefield, don't get me wrong. But everyone knows the rules at the start of the season. If the clubs don't want it, the clubs get together and they can decide, look, let's bin this and just, if it's a draw after 80 minutes, both teams take a point. Or if we have to continue with golden point, I don't see why both teams don't get a point after 80 minutes and then, a bonus point. Because then Wakefield would have got something last week. It wouldn't have hurt as much if they thought, well, we'll at least get a point out of this, because they would be off the bottom. And last time I checked, FC were winning over in Toulouse. So, we're still very much in it. And I've got a wee sneaky for Wakey doing it at Cast tonight. I don't know why. One of these strange feelings you get in your water, as you say. I don't know why, but just...
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. We're in this tipping competition, and my original tip, and I'm going to regret this if it comes in, was Wakefield by 4, and I ended up changing it just based on recent history. But again, as we said in instant fan reaction, Wakefield have all the tools they're possible to get off the bottom and send Toulouse down, or Warrington.
Yeah. Well, I did cheekily put on a post last week, you may have seen it, that if Toulouse had won on Saturday, that Saints should just down tools.
Yeah.
So that Wire were only 2 points ahead of both teams, and that would have been the very epitome of squeaky bum time. But it's one of those. I mean, Wakefield, the last 3 games they've played, they've been handily in front at half time. It's perhaps not general form. It's playing a full 80 because they were well in front against Toulouse at Magic. They were 4-0 up at Hull KR and 10-0 up against us. So it's perhaps not changing much except the players lasting that little bit longer.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think they're far away, and even though Cass were tremendous last week and the week before when they beat Warrington, who knows? But anyway, we're not here to preview Wakefield and Cass, are we?
Exactly. We're here to preview Saints versus Salford, and with that we will put the squad up. The one change as Dan Norman drops out due to a minor glute injury, and the beautiful specimen that is Morgan Knowles comes straight back into that squad after serving a game suspension. Now, Peter, I'm going to run your mind back to earlier in the season. That game at the Totally Wicked was won because of that man on your screen there. His Superman-esque tackle covering back. It kind of shows how dangerous Salford are. Like, listen, it's a loose pass that goes out and an intercept and they go. But it just shows how dangerous Salford are, and we shouldn't be taking anything for granted ahead of Sunday's game, should we?
Oh, absolutely not. They're in really, really good form at the moment. I mean, they battered Catalan, scoring some brilliant tries. And obviously, last week, a lot of people thought Toulouse will get the win and go clear of Wakefield at the bottom. But Salford went there second half and, won very, very easily in the end. Obviously, we'll look at their squad in a little moment or two. They've got a lot of very, very handy players and a lot of good partnerships.
Yeah.
I'm thinking left edge attack, Laffey and Burgess. Ken Seal gets all the praise for his try-scoring expertise, but the Laffey-Burgess link up on the left with Brodie Croft really coming into his game now as well is tremendously dangerous. And even the lad at hooker, Akers, who's one of these type of journeyman guys, but he seems to have linked up now that Croft has found his game. That kind of 1-6-7-9 axis at Salford really seems to have picked up its game, and they're a really, really dangerous proposition. They'll get good, hard-working, honest, I won't use the word journeyman again, but journeyman forwards, nothing spectacular, but they all make hard yards and do a good solid job. There's no one there that you think is pulling up any trees. The boy Akuala there that was at Warrington, I thought was pretty dire, but sometimes guys have gone to Salford. You've seen it when Ian Watson was head coach, gone there and he's made a team that's greater than the sum of its parts. And they're in with a shout at the playoffs, and we are going to have to play pretty well on Sunday to come home with the 2 points.
Yeah, well, I've just stuck the squad up there while we are talking about them. Listen, both teams are doing it tough at the moment. Salford only naming an 18-man squad. They're missing Danny Addy with an Achilles. That's him out for the season. Ryan Brearley, concussion. Ben Helliwell was on loan and that's now ended. Shane Wright, hamstring. James Greenwood, ankle. King Vuni Yayawa, I hope that's right. With a pec.
Yeah, as well as Adaman is Kev, don't worry.
He's got a pec injury. Harvey Levette's got a knee injury. Jack Wells, that's unspecified at the minute what's wrong with him. Morgan Escaré, a thumb injury. And Tyler Dupree, a knee injury. And he lost Brearley, Addy and Helliwell after the last game as well. They've got, as you say, Akoala coming in and Sam Luckley coming back from suspension. So it does give them bodies, but both teams are doing it tough. As you say, though, there was one name that you mentioned, and it's the former Storm and Broncos halfback, Brodie Croft. He's as good as anyone in the division on his day. He just seems to be able to kind of get Salford round a park. He looks lively. Listen, I'm not saying he's better than your likes of Johnny Lomax, but he can more than match him. And as you say, when you've got partnerships like him and Sneed and You're talking about Lafayette and Burgess as well. That's all they need. They've got quite a good percentage of their 1 to 13 in that squad there, and it allows them to keep the kind of playing relationships going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it brings a good bit of continuity, even through an injury crisis that they have. You mentioned there, Brierley. The try I remember from their win a couple of weeks ago against Catalan was, I'm not sure if it was Sneed or Croft, played a rocket of a pass right to left, and Brierley ran on a brilliant line, just slightly in from right to left, and just caught it like almost above his head and went rocketing through a gap. It was everything about it. The timing, the execution was absolutely bob on. So they'll miss him at fullback because they really had, again, linked on the good form of Croft and Sneed, who I think allows Brodie Croft to play the game he wants to do, be a little bit more of a maverick. Sneed's just a calm and influencer. He'll do the kicking game and the organising, and Croft will just go and do the magic. And that seems to be working very, very well for them. I mean, in terms of, they're down to the last 18 bodies, but you're not going to have a Salford team on Sunday that kind of just, licks their wounds and, plays on their woes. They're going to give us a real good game. I'd be surprised if we didn't have to work extremely hard to get the win, especially when you look back, as you mentioned, the game at Saints earlier in the season where, it was nip and tuck, but for Morgan Knowles not cutting his fingernails that morning, they might well have taken the win. But I'd still take our squad over theirs. But I think last week might be a good, not a wake up call, but a wee reminder that if we're not quite on it and we don't do the right things, any team in this league could, give us a smack around the chops if we're not careful.
Yeah, I agree. They've won 4 out of the last 5. As you mentioned before, they've beaten both French teams. They lost against Huddersfield. They've beaten Wire, which everybody seems to be doing at the minute. And they put 74 on Wakefield, which I don't think anybody saw such a result coming.
No.
As you say, and I'm going to go back to our squad now, we almost needed that Wakefield game, I think, as a bit of a wake-up call. I know I've said it in a WhatsApp group that we're in, that hopefully it's our magic weekend of last year, where I said it, and somebody gave me pelters for it by saying that defeat to Catalan could be the best result that happened to us at that stage of the season, because it meant that we weren't believing our own hype. We weren't just getting carried away with ourselves. It grounded us. It made people realise that, as we've just said about Wakefield, you've got to play for 80 minutes. You can't switch off. You can't do it. And that's it. This bunch of lads, I know that Morgan Knowles is the only change, and we'll come to, I think your 17 will be in a second. Well, this bunch of lads are going to have learned a big lesson from that Wakefield game, aren't they?
I think so, yeah. And I remember when you spoke about Catalan at Magic last year when we were doing the instant fan reaction at St James's, a kind of shell-shocked instant fan reaction. And we mused whether, I think I had said, will this derail us? Will it give Catalan that extra incentive to push on? And you had said, will it be the game that, we've had the slap in the face that we needed? And it's a case like which way did we go now? And thankfully it went, the positive way for us, because I don't think if we hadn't lost at Magic, I think they might have pinched it in the last 5 minutes in the grand final. Who knows? But I think it does no harm for you to even winning last week. I don't think the players will be satisfied with how they played, and that's the sign of a very good team, that you can win at a traditionally tough venue. We very, very rarely go to Wakefield and turn them over, especially in those conditions. When I've seen the photographs of the team arriving, and it's including the plush technical area. I'm even calling it a technical area. It was an area. But you think this has got shock result written all over it, and obviously with Saints getting all the praise in the world after the fantastic performance in adversity against Huddersfield to win and to nil them. So which was a wonderful game to come down for, but then it was always a kind of after the Lord Mayor's show.
Correct, yeah.
But we stuck it out, and the old phrase that, never write off the Saints. It gets trotted out every so often, but it's become a catchphrase because it's so true.
Yeah.
You can never say that we're definitely beaten. Any team is going to have to play for the full 80 to beat us, regardless of how badly we're playing.
Yeah, and I know Dave got pelters for his weather forecast as well. Well, somebody commented on YouTube and always brings a little smile. I know that I've just had a look. The current weather forecast for Sunday is similar to what we were expecting for Wakefield, where it's going to have rained in the morning and then it should be dry for the game. Obviously, playing in pretty similar conditions. Hopefully, we've not got the rain that just keeps battering down all game, but it'll just hopefully we'll see a little bit more completion from the lads. Hopefully we'll see a little bit better kind of game smarts, I'm going to call them. Just get through your sets, kick long, turn them around, try and force their error. That's what Wakefield did to us. And obviously when you have a game like that and you've got a team who do have someone like Jacob Miller, who we've mentioned, Mark Sneed for Salford, who can put on a masterclass of a kicking game, you've got to make sure you're doing the little 1%ers right to make sure that you're getting down the other end and your field position is better. As far as our squad goes, I think I know the answer to this, Peter. In fact, I'm going to help you out with two of them because Taylor Pemberton and George Delaney are currently playing in the academy game at Blackbrook. So there's two who are going to miss out. Who's the other two?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think Lewis Baxter and Redvee.net sponsored Dan Hill.
His full title.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's a very, very simple change to the 17. Morgan Knowles in for the unlucky Dan Norman. Probably Knowles he starts, and I reckon you'll see James Bell probably start on the interchange bench, which is probably a good thing because he could spell Joey Lussick. I think Bell could probably fit in at hooker, or Knowles do it and Bell go to loose forward. It gives you that option and a bit of extra physicality if you have to give a spell to Joey Lussick as well. So I'd be more than happy with that. I don't think Sunday coming is the type of place to, while there's still a lot to play for and nothing's guaranteed in the season, to be thrown in youngsters. People might say, "Oh, you're 6 points clear," but we've still got a lot of tough games to come up against teams who might not be playing brilliantly. In some cases, like your Hull KR with all their injuries and Hull FC, but all these teams are playing for playoffs and they'll have an edge to their game. So we can't take anything for granted. I think the last two home games, when hopefully we should have everything sealed up, when they might be more vital for the opposition that day, Wakey and Toulouse, but I think that's the game to kind of like a half a team 1 week, half a team the week after, give everyone, all the youngsters, another run out then. But go as strong as you can for as long as you can, unless you absolutely have to.
Well, you mentioned that, and as strong as we can for as long as we can. We're going to have bodies coming back over the next couple of weeks. If you're a subscriber to Saints TV, there's a 10 or 12 minute press conference from the boss, Christian Wolf, just outlining when players are coming back. I've scribbled a couple of them down. He said Tommy Makinson had a chance for this week, and if not, he'll be next week. So Tommy Makinson comes back for Cass. Mark Percival in the middle of July was 3 or 4 weeks away, so that could be Cass or Hull FC. Will Hopawati, no definite timeline, but they're looking again at that Hull FC game. Lewis Dodd obviously out for the season. Dan Norman out for a game or two. Kind of puts that whole game as he coming back in. Sione Matautia comes back from his ban. Which game does he come back? That whole game. And the one that I do want to mention, and I want him to keep his head up. I want him to do everything he's done first time round, and there's no real proper prognosis or diagnosis of what's happened. But Matty Foster, he's gone out. He's played in a reserved game, an academy game. I can't remember which one it was, and he's hurt the knee that he's had his operation on. And Christian Wolf has said it's not good news. Hopefully, he can keep his head up and stay positive through it. It must be tough for him because it is the same knee, and you can imagine doubts are coming in. But on behalf, I know of us here at Redvee and all Saints fans, we wish him all the best. And hopefully we'll see him running out onto a pitch sooner rather than later.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my heart sank when I read that tweet from Saints during the reserve game last week where he said Matty Foster went down. I was like, oh, not again, poor lad, because he's had so much bad luck. Even thought, last season, getting out on loan, thought, get a few games, exactly what you need. And then, playing for it was Lee Centurions, he was on loan, wasn't he? And he gets a bad injury there as well. He's got time in his side, he's only 21, but he must be having so many thoughts in his head about, is my career over and what am I going to do? But it's important that he's got a lot of good people surrounding him that will keep his head up. People who have been there, like Johnny Lomax.
Correct.
I'm sure Johnny will put his arm around his shoulder and say, listen, I've come through this. I've come back stronger. You can do the same. Yeah. And obviously, I absolutely echo your sentiments. We wish him very, very well. He's a cracking young prospect. We've got a lot of good back rowers, and he's one of them. If he can come back from this injury, he's still got the chance of making a very, very long and successful career. And we obviously wish him every success.
Definitely. That's it. There's a lot of competition in that back row, but they obviously rate him highly enough to kind of keep him on the books for this season and get him through that injury. And hopefully he gets all the support he needs, as we say, for the future. Going back to Sunday, Peter, prediction time.
I never like to have a prediction ready. I always like to wait for the question.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've done. I don't think anybody comes on here and predicts anything other than a Saints victory.
Correct. With the Mark Lawrenson on the BBC Sport website of predictions.
Yes. Absolutely. That's not a compliment, is it? No.
No. But it goes for all of us. That's the thing. We're all under that.
I think we'll win the game, but I don't think it's going to be remarkably comfortable. The figure that's come in at my head is Saints by 10, and I'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, I think, the on-running joke is I do say it's by 14, and I always say it's only 2 converted tries and a penalty. So you can be 6 up in the last couple of minutes, get a try, and then get a penalty and kick it. And it's not a big one. But I'm more inclined to go with a tighter game as well. I think, as I say, both teams are doing it tough, and I don't want to take away Salford's injuries compared to ours. But I think on the kind of the reflection of it, we're missing probably some bigger names for us and how our team plays. But I'm going to go a tight game as well, and hopefully we can just keep that 6-point lead at the top. Coming into finally a home game, it feels like we've not been at home this season. It feels like we're away for 2, home at 1.
It seems to have been that way. Like one home game and then like 2 league games scheduled and a cup tie, which has been away.
Yeah,
or an international break or something. It's not ideal, but
it is what it is. Listen, we play the same amount of home games as we do away games. So, it just feels that way, doesn't it? It just feels like we're not at home. And obviously, instead, the Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott gig, that was the last home match I went to. 21,500 there. Great for Saints. That best run club in the league, Peter. I'm not having it said otherwise.
Absolutely. If we're getting a score, it would without doubt be a perfect 10.
Oh,
thank you very much.
You know what?
I'm here all week.
I think that is the right place to end it. We nearly got through a pun-free episode because Dave is away. Well, he's gone watching Everton tonight. We nearly got through, but you know what? I'll take that one because that was a good one, not like Dave's.
Thank you. I'm not sure that's a great compliment, but you haven't given better puns than Dave Lyon. But
it's backhanded. It's backhanded to say the least, Peter.
It is indeed. But let's hope Saints win by a perfect 10 on Sunday, as I predicted.
That'll do. That'll do perfectly well. Peter, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
No problem. Dave will be back with the instant fan reaction on Sunday, as I am not going to the Salford game. I seemingly never go to Salford away. I've always got something on.
I was going to say, do you have a note or something for you excuse your absence?
Yeah,
please,
it's called
Kevin can't go to Salford because
it's the wife's birthday, and
yes, I concur.
We have other plans, and
I concur.
As a married man, Peter, you know there's some things more important in life.
Yes, yeah, like your health.
Yes,
for example.
Correct answer.
Well, I kind of early happy birthday to Mrs. P. Anyway, hope she's a nice one.
Yeah, thank you very much. As I say, thanks for joining me, Peter. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on Sunday for some instant fan reaction. See you later.